Hello, this is Daniel Mart, and today I'm going to be doing another Walking Dead discussion topic. And this time around, I'm going to be doing my death predictions for season 6, who I think is going to survive, who I think is going to live, die, and whatever. So I'm basically going to split this up into three categories, sections. No, which is those who I don't think are going to die. Maybe, which are the ones who may die, they may survive, but they may also die, and then yes, which is the ones who will die. Um, so basically, I've split it up into mostly our main characters throughout the show, or some of the main players that will be throughout all of season 6, or should be throughout all of season 6. We do have a few characters here on this list that haven't appeared yet on the show, but we've seen like images of like leaked images of them. So I thought why not add them here too. So yeah. Now first off on the no section, first off, Rick Grimes. You really can't kill off the lead. Um, yeah. You start off with Rick Grimes for no. I don't. He has to live throughout season 6. Because there were rumors of Andrew Lincoln wanting to quit apparently, but those turned out to be false. So Rick Grimes, he's gonna be on the show for a really really long time. Next up, Carl Grimes. His son. Now we have seen images of him with a bandage over his eye, which is really reminiscent of the comics. He's not dead yet in either or the comics or the TV series, so I don't think he's gonna die in the show either. Next up, a real controversial one. Some people say he should die. Some people say he shouldn't die. Daryl Dixon. He's not in the comics. He's not really in the comics, so you really can't say he has a set plot for him. He's an original character to the show, and having Daryl Dixon as an original character to the show, you can do many things with him. And many people predict that eventually, somehow, some way, he will end up becoming Dwight. And that will be interesting. If that does turn out to be the case, Daryl becoming Dwight, that would be interesting in my opinion. I'd love to see that. And yeah, and also Daryl Dixon, one of my favorite characters of the show. Same thing with Rick Grimes, Carl Grimes, some of my favorite characters. But Daryl Dixon's my number one favorite character in the whole show. So yeah, I wouldn't want him to see him to die. Also just that whole thing, if Daryl dies, we riot, which I call kind of bullshit on it. I do think that the views may drop a bit, but I don't know. I call bullshit on that whole situation. But people will be pissed off if you kill off Daryl. Next up, going on from Daryl, we go on to Carol Peletier, one of the more badass females, nothing like her comic book counterpart. Because in the comics, she's like this blonde bimbo, basically. She's kind of hot, I guess you could say. Whereas in the show, you know how she is. She's older with that pixie cut, whatever. But she's still kind of badass. Also, I think out of any character, in the show, she's probably had one of the strongest character arcs. Alongside there with Rick, Morgan, Daryl. She's probably had one of the stronger character arcs the show has seen. Having the abusive husband all the way at the beginning, and now being able to murder children and anybody she wants, and playing possum, so to speak, by where we're at now. So yeah. Next up, Michonne. I think she's gonna live. Really do think she's gonna live. Again, she's alive in the comics, so that does kind of influence my decision making. So Michonne probably will live. Regardless. I really just the one problem with Michonne is that I just don't know what they're gonna do with her, because during this time in the comics, she really didn't do much, in my opinion. She kind of just fought zombies like everybody else. Um, she did strategize a bit to get the whole zombie herd out of Alexandria, but really, in my opinion, she didn't do nothing or much significance. So yeah, hopefully they do develop her role a bit more, because she is well developed, but I do feel like they could develop her as a character a bit more. Next up, we have Aaron. I don't think they're gonna kill him. If I'm not mistaken, he is dead in the comics, but way after this point. He died way after this point that we are at in the TV series. So I don't think he's gonna die. And he is a pretty likable character. Next up, Enid. I don't think they're gonna kill her off either. Mostly because it's a possible love interest for Carl, and she could also replace Sophia in a sense. So that would be good. Now, two characters that haven't been introduced to the show that will be introduced that we've seen in the photos and the trailers are Paul Monroe and Heath. I don't think they're gonna kill either of them in season 6, mostly because they're gonna be introducing them in season 6, and also they're both alive in the comics. So yeah, don't know what's gonna really don't know who portrays Paul Monroe. There's pictures of the actor walking around, but there's no real confirmation as to who's portraying him. As for Heath, I forget Corey Hawkins is portraying him. He was in Nonstop and Straight Outta Compton. Pretty good actor in my opinion. So yeah, we haven't really seen much of the characters aside from the trailer and Heath and some photos with Paul. We really haven't seen any much of anything with those two characters. But I don't think they're gonna kill them off, mostly because they're gonna be introducing them in season 6. So yeah, so for those who I think are gonna survive, for those who I think will survive season 6, who I don't think are gonna be killed off during season 6, just to go over them one more time: Rick, Carl, Daryl, Carol, Michonne, Aaron, Enid, Heath, and Paul. So that's 9 characters. 9 characters. Now on to the maybes. These are the ones I think could die or could not die. I could see them surviving. However, I could also see them, dying. So first off, we have Glenn Rhee. Glenn. Yeah, I mean, his death is getting pretty close because he's dead in the comics. His death moment is getting pretty close. Now, that's not to say that they can't switch it. I mean, they could switch the character to make it a bit unpredictable. But first off, his death is getting pretty close. And at this point, his character, and I think it's, again, due to the comics, his character arc has kind of plateaued at this point. So, yeah, I mean, you still do have the great action scenes with him and the romance with Maggie, but again, it just kind of seems like it's plateaued at this point. Speaking of Maggie Greene, also at this point, she is alive in the comics, but again, it's one of those situations I could see her dying because her character has kind of plateaued. She could get development due to the fact that she is kind of Deanna's intern in a sense, so to speak, because again, every person in Alexandria, every citizen in Alexandria has their own role, their own parts to do, and she's kind of the, I guess, not co-leader. I'm not gonna say the co-leader of the group of all the Alexandrites, but Deanna has taken her under her wing. So, yeah, I mean, I guess from that aspect she could be safe. However, there is a possibility that she could die, in my opinion. So yeah, next up, Judith Grimes. Yeah, little ass kicker, kicking bucket. She's a baby. That's really. First off, she's dead in the comics. She died a long time ago in the comics. Like prison killed them all. Point in the comics. Okay. And she's a baby. She's gonna cause a lot of noise. That's not to say that Rick, Carl, Daryl, or anybody else can't protect her, but I think that eventually she'll be. It's gonna sound morbid, but she's a baby. She's probably gonna be sacrificed to the zombies to let the rest of the group escape or something like that, some morbid shit like that. But I could see her surviving because again, we don't really know what they're gonna do with little ass kickers. So, yeah. Next up we have Morgan Jones. Again, his death pretty close at this point. In relation to the comics, and his story. And I'm not gonna say his character arc hasn't plateaued yet because we still need to know what happened to him. What happened to him from the time we saw him in Clear to the first episode in season 5, and why he decided to move on. We still haven't seen that section of it, but I do think by the end of the season, not by the end of the season, like episodes 14, 15, 16, and I do know that's a long roads away, and I do realize that's like a prediction that shouldn't be made yet, but I think more around like the end of the season, we could see his death. Then again, it could be unpredictable, mid-season finale type of stuff. I don't know. But I do. There is a possibility. I could see him surviving, but I could see him dying both ways. Next up, Eugene. He's alive in the comics at this point. Still. Because again, he could live, he could die. I mean, he's inept. He doesn't really know how to use guns or whatever. He's smart. That's all he really knows how to do. But yeah, so maybe Abraham. Again, maybe we're not too close to his death yet. But again, if they want to make it unpredictable, they could kill him off earlier. So yeah, Rosita, she's dead in the comics. She died. However, she died recently, like a couple issues back. So yeah, I mean, so I could see her surviving, but like the one thing with Rosita, I think she's like the female T-Dog in my opinion. She's just like the female T-Dog. And what I mean by that is that she has no development. Like in the comics, and I know T-Dog is not in the comics, but whether it be the comics or the TV show, she has no development whatsoever. Like the most development you get out of her is the fact that she met up with Abraham and Eugene at some point in Texas. They survived with a few people till they met up with Rick's group, and she had a relationship with Abraham, she had a relationship with Eugene, and that's it. In the comics, it goes a little bit further, which I'm not going to spoil it, but in the comics, she's dead. And again, in the comics, no development, in my opinion. So, I mean, here I can see them killing her off because she just has no development. She's just eye candy. Basically, that's it. She's eye candy. That's it. Next up, we have Father Gabriel Stokes. Yeah, Father Gabriel. Okay, this one's gonna be interesting. Because the actor who portrayed him, Terrence Gilliam, right? That's the actor. I believe so. He was actually arrested during production of the season. To begin with, for drug possession. I believe it was like marijuana and speeding. So he was actually arrested. So they could want to kill him. They could want to kick out the actor just for that or whatever, for having drugs and whatnot. So I could see them killing off the character for that. The character somehow is still alive in the comics. And the thing is that really Father Gabriel, once we got to Alexandria, we saw him like for the first episode when they're in Alexandria, which is them, if I'm not mistaken or remember, and then we really didn't see him to like conquer, in my opinion. So we had we missed out of out of Father Gabriel for about 3 or 4 episodes, and nobody really noticed it till like people started mentioning it. Where's Father Gabriel? Again, Father Gabriel, aside from the stuff that happened at his church, again, not much of no real development in my opinion. So yeah. Next up, Sasha Williams. Yeah, Sasha. She could die. She probably could die. Probably won't die. Again, down the middle. Again, because she's kind of like the TV series Andrea at this point. I mean, she's not gonna hook up with Rick anytime soon, but like the sniper stuff, she's got that down. But she is a bit unstable at this point, with almost killing Gabriel, with the death of Tyrese and Bob. She is unstable, so she may not be thinking clearly. And we saw that in the bridge scene when they were supposed to avoid the walkers, and instead she just starts stabbing a few of them in the head, killing off some of them. So yeah. So she could go either way. Next up, Tara Chamblers. Okay, so yeah, in the third to last episode of season 5, I believe, or season 2. Season 5, the second or third to last episode of season 5. She was hurt real badly in that explosion. So yeah, and we kind of saw her wake up, and you could tell she's still alive. However, due to the fact that there is going to be this massive zombie horde, it's possible that she may become a liability to the group. And at this point, she's a character from the novels, which is interesting because the novel series is canon to the novel series is canon to the comic book series, for the most part. So that is interesting, having a novel series character. So will they kill her off? I think she's a little. I would say maybe. Again, you do have that perspective that she was part of the governor's side during the assault, but really they haven't really touched base on that much since the beginning of season 5. So I do think they could kill her off. However, I also see them not killing her off. So yeah. Next up, Spencer Monroe. The son of Deana Monroe, Deana and Reg. Again, he's more or less dead. He died a little bit further than we're at the TV show. He died maybe a season. Let's say like in another season he would be dead. Again, his character's pretty basic. He's kind of just there, the son of the leaders, son of the two leaders, and that's it. Kind of an alpha male. Whatever. And it's funny because he kind of reminds me of Chris Pratt for some reason. The actor has that look. Chris Pratt. I don't know. That has nothing to do with my decision on whether he's gonna die or not. But I just kind of want to point out that. And last but not least, on the maybes, I would put Eric, which is Erin's boyfriend, Eric Raligh, or Raligh. Erin's boyfriend. Again, he's hurt. He has the stuff going on with his leg. He's alive in the comics actually. So yeah, Erin's dead and Eric is alive. And it's kind of funny how I say Erin's gonna live and Eric may die. But yeah, he's got his leg is kind of jacked up, and he has some developments in the comics which we do have yet to explore in the TV show. But again, it's pretty basic, It's like, me and my boyfriend are going off to war and shit, and this is our struggles. So it's pretty basic. Now onto they have to die by the end of the season. First off, Sam, the whole Sam, Jessie, and Ron, the whole Anderson family, they're more or less dead at this point in the comics. Like, they died during the whole Walker Horde. So I'm pretty sure they're all three of them are gonna bite the bullet. However, I think here's how I think, because Ron, he's not in the comics actually. Actually kind of is. It's like, because it's technically like, it's kind of weird because Jessie, she's a mother, so she's in the comics, but like Sam will be the counterpart to Ron in the comics. In the comics you have Ron Anderson, and in the TV show you have Sam Anderson. And it's kind of how it is because they're both around the same age, about 10 I want to say, and they're both kind of adventurous, but they're both scared of zombies. Ron, he's about 14, 15, close to Kara's age. So I think that Sam and Jessie are gonna be killed off in the whole Walker Horde, and then you're gonna have Ron be killed off in that love triangle between him, Enid, and Carl. Yeah, him, Carl, and Enid, which will be pretty interesting. Now, could he go out some of the way? Possibly, but I think by the end of the season, the whole Anderson family is gonna die. Next up, Deana. Who's Deana? Yeah, who's Deana? She's gonna be dead. Her counterpart, Douglas Monroe, she's dead. He's dead in the comics because in the TV show it's a woman, in the comics it's a dude. So Douglas Monroe, he's dead in the comics. During the big Walker herd that passes through Alexandria, I think she should die. She should be dead. If she survives that, I'll be surprised. First off, so yeah. Next up, Olivia. Somehow this one's still alive in the comics. The only reason I say yes is because there's no, and this is gonna sound really discriminatory. Yeah, did I say that correctly? Discriminatory. Yeah, this is gonna sound really insulting, but there's just no way someone like her would survive. Because I know that most of the people in Alexandria are pretty. They don't really know much of what's going outside of the whole. Outside of the walls. But I think if there's one person who just knows, who really doesn't know anything about walkers, it has to be Olivia. You could say Sam doesn't know anything about walkers, but you have to give him a pass. He's like 10. He doesn't understand. Like, he has a basic understanding of walkers, okay? And he's protected. Olivia, she's like a zombie Happy Meal. She's okay, that's insulting, but she's like you have to admit, she's a zombie Happy Meal. She's pretty much useless, and for some bullshit reason, she still carries her phone. And in the comics, she has no development. In the TV series, she has no development. Could they develop her character over time? Yeah, but come on, she's a zombie Happy Meal, for fuck's sake. So yeah, next up we have Tobin. He could die. Not as useless as Olivia because he's on the construction team and he can shoot a gun and stuff. But I think he could die. He's dead in the comics too, so, And Nicholas, he, again, dead in comics, and we all hate him. We all want him to die too. After what he did to Glenn and Noah, we want him to die. And last but not least, the wolves, that whole shit's gonna die. The wolves, they're all gonna die. And then some background Alexandria survivors, just background extra characters. They may die too. In the whole Walker herd or attack or whatever. So the wolves, background survivors, and whatever. So yeah, just to go over it one more time, those who I think are gonna survive till the end of season 6: Rick, Carl, Daryl, Carol, Michonne, Paul, Aaron, Enid, and Heath. Those who I think could die, and by the end of season 6, could die. They could survive, but I could also see them die. They could or couldn't. 50-50. Glenn, Maggie, Judith, Morgan, Eugene, Abraham, Rosita, Gabriel, Sasha, Tara, Spencer, and Eric. And those who I think that will die by the end of season 6: Sam, Ron, Jessie, Olivia, Tobin, Nicholas, the Wolves, and some random background Alexandria survivors. So yeah, that's basically my death predictions for all of season 6. I'll probably do an update by the end of the mid-season finale during the winter break. And yeah, that's basically it for this review. Comment down below on your death predictions. Who do you think will live? Who do you think is going to die? Comment all that down below. Let me know. Like the video. Share on Facebook, Twitter, MySpace, or whatever you guys prefer. And that's basically it for now. This is Daniel Mart signing off.